was lit.
My name is David Cooper Moore. I'm the media instructor at Yes Philly Accelerated High School in North Philly.
Okay, so how do you think that Yes Philly or the educators here are affecting the larger community, either Philadelphia or the neighborhood, either positively or negatively?
Well, we serve a really specific purpose at Yes Philly, which is to kind of catch students that haven't made it in traditional public school, usually education environments. Part of that is a broader issue that comes up in urban education in lots of areas, and some of it's really specific to Philly, where we have this weird semi-privatization of our school district, where a lot of our students have had strange pathways through their K-8 education. A lot of students that come to us have never really been in a real school since they were in about 7th grade. Other kids just kind of were not getting it done at a regular high school. Other students have been victims of assault and bullying. Other students have just had life circumstances that make finishing high school difficult. And so the main service that we provide at Yes Philly is just to kind of get students over the finish line who have found it difficult for one reason or another to finish what we think is a really foundational component of being successful in the United States in 2017. If you don't have a high school diploma, you're at risk for lots of other related negative kind of outcomes. And so in that sense, I think that the service that we're providing at Yes Philly is to just catch some students that really should be graduating from high school and aren't for reasons that have very little to do with who they are and has a lot more to do with the system that they're in. And so that's the main way that we do it. We try to do some community engagement more explicitly, in enrolling parents, enrolling community members, connecting our students to the wider community. So the Westchester partnership that we're doing is an example where we're bringing in folks in the wider community, academic community, social justice community, and trying to give our students a broader sense of kind of what's out there. But I think those are mostly secondary to the basic mission that we have, which is to just get kids through high school.
How is the media that you're creating within this class affecting the community?
That's a good question. I think media tends to affect the community in ways that are always surprising. There's an element of media production, especially today, there's a little bit of randomness to it. We try to focus on students sort of speaking to and learning about issues that are really close to their hearts and close to their experiences, so that no matter what happens with the media itself, they will have had a transformative experience, right? Whether that's therapeutic, whether that's academic, whether that is just in experiencing, there are some students in something like the Westchester partnership who just meeting 12 people that are about to graduate from college is huge for them, all in one place. And so we try to be very agnostic about the impact that the media itself has. I'm personally, because I've done so much work in youth media in so many different contexts, I'm very skeptical of media itself being the true change agent, the product, right? I've become more process-oriented in the way that I think about youth media. Part of that is because a lot of what makes media successful is not up to the students, right? There's nothing I've made films with students that I think are totally beautiful, wonderful films, and they won't get into a single film festival or be seen by a very wide audience. I have other students who make a Facebook page kind of on a whim about a vaguely social issue, and they get 2,000 followers in 3 weeks. So both of those have happened at Yes Philly. We've made, beautiful poetic documentaries that nobody sees, and we've made a Kardashian body image Facebook page that got so many likes in such a quick period of time that it was actually taken off of Facebook for seeming to be a fake account. So that was cool, but again, that's why I don't put as much stock in the ultimate reach of the media products, because so much of that is unpredictable, and especially when distribution is online. One thing that I think we can do is shift students' frameworks about thinking about what it means for something to take off, right? Create something that you would be comfortable sharing in your personal friend network. I have some students that have thousands of followers on SoundCloud or on Facebook or on Twitter. And if they just tweet out a link to a video, we're going to have thousands of views, where if I do it to my educator community, I might get 400. And those 400 are educators, that's something. But again, I think that really teaching them more about the media landscape and about opportunities and not worrying so much about where the media ends up. Think about it more of how the process can help both them and other people in the community. Connecting them with organizations that are already doing this work so that they understand that even if this film doesn't get 10,000 views, they have a relationship now with an organization or with an idea or with a person that might kind of help them in the future.
When I think about how the youth that I worked with at Yes Philly have had an impact on the community, I first think about the media project we created. We did a series of interviews with the students about how safe they feel in their neighborhood, and we asked students a series of questions such as, have you ever been a victim of violence, and when is the first time you experienced violence in your neighborhood? Some of the students expressed that this is the first time they have ever thought of their neighborhoods in a broader context. In the project, most students had expressed that they didn't want to be in Philadelphia, and one student said that no one should be living like they are. The final question we asked the students were, if they could change something to make their neighborhood more safe, what would they change? This question got some amazing answers about law enforcement, drugs, schools, and other things. This question was really the connection piece between the media project and the larger community. By brainstorming different solutions to violence, the students were able to see ways that they could affect not only their neighborhood, but also their larger community. One student said after the interview that violence will only stop if her generation makes it stop. These students have had a desire to see their neighborhood improve and will continue to make connections on how to do it through the media projects they create. While Yes Philly affects their communities in positive ways through their educators, the media they create, and their students, they are also affecting and breaking down systems of oppression through all the work they do. They are able to have hard conversations with their students about racism, sexism, classism, etc. In one interview we conducted about violence, I was able to have a long conversation with a student about his personal encounters with police brutality. Within that conversation, we were able to brainstorm ideas on how that form of oppression can be alleviated. Yes Philly is very successful about talking about oppression and how students can help to fight